What is going on, my friends? My name's Corrupt, and today we are here breaking down for you 5 of the strongest Town Hall 11 Zap Quake strategies. We've got multiple different strategies in this video, and we're going to be starting off here with the Mass Dragon version, which is going to be a very, very powerful example. So what we're doing is we are trying to take down as much value with our Sui hero, but we're also trying to get down the CC, the Queen, and an air defense like you'll see right there. So that's a lot of good value. So what are we going to be doing? Well, you may already notice that we're using a golem. Something definitely a lot different with this one, but the use of the golem here is just a tank for the Queen and for the king. What we're trying to do is, because there is a Tesla farm in this section of the base, we want to use that golem in order to make sure that we are tanking just enough so to get rid of this. Now, this is definitely a really good portion because we can definitely take care of that. So while we're doing that and dealing with all that, we can use the lightning spells here and the quake spell in order to take down the clan castle and the queen and the air defense like you saw right there. We dealt with all of them extremely easily. Now what we're doing is, again, we are carving out more of the funnel here. Then we can kind of start to send in our dragons this direction while we go ahead and send the Stone Slammer to the Multi-Inferno over to the Eagle Artillery. So this is kind of something that you need to think about. Is it more worth it if you send in a Slammer away from your dragons, or should you send it in with your dragons and keep it like that? So definitely there's a lot of different options to kind of think about. You may also notice the use of a Lava Hound in this case. When we're sending in the Lava Hound here, we want to tank for as many of the defenses as possible. And on top of this, we want to make sure that we're soaking up any seeking air mines with that Lava Hound. Any traps like the air bombs or even the black mines like you see there, we want to make sure that we are pulling them. That way what we're able to do is have this hound tank for much longer and allow us to really get through the entire attack. Now we do want to use our Warren ability a little early, especially as the eagle is still alive. We want to make sure that we are keeping that alive as we go into the base. You may already notice that we have the Stone Slammer over here taking down the Eagle Artillery, while over here on the other side, we have the dragons moving themselves through. Now, in that Stone Slammer, we do have balloons that we can use a haste spell with. There was another example of this same strategy, but we were using the haste and then the freeze on top of the Multi-Inferno. So that was another really good example of it that I'm not really going to show here, but it's still a very solid example of using this because we're getting rid of a ton of value and allowing ourselves to really get through a large portion of the base. Other than that, though, this gives you guys a really good opportunity to really start using dragons with the Zap Quake. Of course, you can use it against air defenses, but it's a lot better when you use it against the CC and the Queen, and maybe even an air defense. Take advantage of what you can get with that, and if you can get a lot, then that's definitely going to be very, very good for your entire attack. So, let's go ahead and move on into 4 more, because we have a lot of Zap Quake strategies here for you. That's right, guys, we are now looking at Zap Quake Lalo. Of course, you guys already know what Zap Lalo is. It's super powerful, super strong, and it's definitely a strategy that you guys need to try out in the current meta. It is so powerful. So again, what are you looking for exactly? Well, you're looking for the Queen and CC, of course, but you're using those Zap Quakes, so you're trying to look for them pretty close together, like you see here. We can also get rid of the Eagle Artillery, very similar to the first example. However, this one, we're seeing it deal with the enemy clan castle, which is just taking it out with those lightning spells. So again, we want to be very patient with where that Queen is. So she's going to work herself like kind of around her altar, and once she gets to this spot here, then he's going to drop in the lightning spells, and that is going to be a rip for the Queen and get all that value right there that is right by that area. Taking down both altars, even though the king won't be taken down, the Queen will, and of course the CC and and the Eagle Artillery will. So now what this gives us is some pathing here to drive into either side where there are 2 air defenses. So that's what we're kind of looking at here. So what we want to do is we want to create the funnel on these 2 sides here in order to kind of let our Sui hero go into the base, take down these 2 air defenses, and start our lava loon going into the opposite side. So that's exactly what you're trying to do with this entire strategy. You want to make sure that that is entirely possible. Now, of course, here, I think he wanted his queen to kind of work her way in, take down the multi-inferno. That doesn't happen, of course, but it still shows a good example of getting as much value here, getting the sweepers down, getting an expo down, which is super nice. So we're getting a lot of good value. We got both air defenses down, which is huge. Now, I'm going to pause it right here because I want you guys to note the number of balloons. So to the left of me, you will see the number of balloons that you need per defense. This is very important because this is going to let you know basically in terms of deployment what you should be doing. But once, you know, later on in your attack, you should be able to have a good group of balloons. So feel free to screenshot it or whatever, but that is something that you guys should definitely know and share with your clanmates and stuff. Now, when we're starting off with our lava loon, because we're not going into an air defense just yet, we don't need to drop in any spells because a lot of those buildings there are for the most part just ground targeting. But when we're sending in our lava loon, we want to send in the haste spells to key defenses like the wizard tower. So you see that some of these loons over here are going over to the wizard tower and stuff like that. You want to make sure that you're getting them right to those key buildings like the air defenses, like the multi-infernos, like the wizard towers, stuff like that. Even expos are definitely very good as well. However, you may notice again that in this attack here, it looks like it is going to thin out, but it really isn't because, again, a large amount of balloons are left. The Warren ability being popped over the Inferno Tower. Now, if you're going up against, or if you're charging into a back-end multi, I would suggest using that or even bringing a free spell if you can. If you can't, that's completely fine, but if you can, then that's definitely worth bringing. So definitely just really determines upon your spell composition since you are bringing 8 spells just to take down the enemy CC and queen. Other than that, though, you can really see a large amount of value that you're able to get from the base. And, of course, we're going to see a clutch ward in here. But the bigger picture here is when you're using this, you want to get as much value with both the Sui Hero and the Zap value, or the Zap Quake, in order to take down the key buildings that you need. And once you've done that, you can start your lava loon very, very easily. Outside that, though, that gives you guys a really solid example of using the Zap Lalo. Definitely, you guys have seen a video of this from mine, so definitely it is a powerful strategy. But now we're going to take a look at 3 other strategies that are using Zap Quake that you do not want to miss. Now, guys, we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit different. What we've got here is a Zap Quake Mass Edrag. Now, this strategy is fairly simple, exactly what it sounds like, but instead of using it against the CC and the queen, and of course the Eagle artillery, but what we're going to be doing here with this one is we are going to be using it against air defenses. So we're going to be using our first 2 lightning spells on the sweeper. Get rid of that. And then what we're going to be doing is sending in our Edrags. But how do we get our Edrags to go in? That's going to be the biggest thing. So on this base design here, we want to use a Sui Hero, carve out about this section of the base, get down an air defense, and we also want to do the same thing on the opposite side with pretty minimal space. You'll notice that we're bringing in some sneaky goblins in order to do this. So what we're trying to do is carve out this area of the base here, and then also carving out this area of the base here, just in order for us to send our Edrags right in. That's extremely important. Now, if we are going to be funneling there, what about this sweeper? Like I mentioned, we're going to be trying to take that out, or we are going to be taking that out with 2 max lightning spells like you see right here. So that's very important. So notice how we're using the Sui Hero. We're trying to just get down the air defense and have a clear path for our Edrags. And then on the opposite side, we're going to be using a baby dragon and a couple sneaky goblins, a couple minions, just in order for us to clear that side with very minimal troop space. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep it light before we actually send in our Edrags, because we want our Edrags, all of them, to stay in the base at all times. Now, once we're able to establish a pretty good funnel, we want to make sure that we're being patient on all of this. We can then start to send in our Edrags. However, we are going to start off with zapping away the air sweeper. The reason that we are is because that is exactly where we're going to be entering in. After this, we can drop in a couple balloons, test for any seeking air mines, and save that for the Stone Slammer, which does have a E-Drag and balloon in there. The main reason that we're doing this is in order to keep these E-Drags protected, and we even have the rage spell for them because you really do need rage spells with this. And of course, it's definitely going to be very nice, especially if you can space them out. Don't use them all at the same time. You'll see that we are going to also use the Warren ability in order to protect everything as everything moves in, protecting it from the clan castle and, of course, the Eagle Artillery. Now, what you'll see on this other side is we've already done our Zap Quake. Zap Quake is extremely powerful and it's very, very good to use. On this one here, notice how we are using the Quake spell on top of the air defense. We already used 2 lightnings on this, and what we're doing is we're weakening the multi-inferno as well. And we're doing the same thing over here on the opposite side, but we're just going to be taking care of a couple other defenses. This leaves this back end very much open for the rest of our E-Drag attack. And that's really all this is just making sure that you're looking at chain value, which is one of the most important things. And there was a lot of chain value, like I mentioned earlier. And then another thing that you're trying to do is making sure that you can get your E-Drags right through the base. And other than that, though, it's still very simple. It's like Mass Edrag, but you're bringing in the Zap Quake for the back end. This is definitely spell heavy. However, of course, you can still get a lot of really good value by using this strategy, and it really allows you to kind of get through a large chunk of bases if they have good chain value. Since, of course, you can zap away 2 air defenses very, very easily. And that's really what this strategy is. So definitely, if you're interested in learning this strategy, then I would definitely suggest, definitely trying it out and just listen to all the tips I gave and what the attacker did here. We got 2 more here, and let's go ahead and jump into those next examples using Zap Quake. Now, you guys have probably never expected to see Zap Quake paired with a Queen Walk Mass Miner. Well, this is definitely very possible. Very similar to the other ones, we're looking for the enemy CC and the enemy queen. So what we're just trying to do here is get rid of those. We don't need to worry about them, and our miners can kind of move in through the base here. One other thing about Mass Miner is that you want to look for bases that don't have a lot of storages in there. So on this base here, there's 3 elixir storage, a gold storage. It isn't too bad though. There is an area of heavy HP, which is would definitely slow down the miners. So that's exactly what you really need to look for. This base would probably also be very good for hybrid, but again, you want to try and make sure that you are either trying to get down as much value as possible with the Zap Quake or something like that. That's going to be extremely important. So you'll see that what we're going to be seeing here is once the queen gets in range of both the CC and the, gets in range of the CC, we're going to go ahead and drop in those lightning spells, take that down, and take down the clan castle. So that's extremely important here because that gets rid of that. And all we have to do now is create 2 funnels. We're going to be creating this side of the funnel with the Siege Barrack. If you don't have access to the Siege Barrack, I would use the Slammer, send it in towards the back end, support your miners going through. And then you're going to use a Queen Walk on this side and take care of all of this going through. So we've got easy pathing here for our entire miner attack here. That's all we're doing. That's all we're trying to look for, easy pathing. Now they may split, and if you do feel like they will split, then it might be a little bit better to definitely just, make sure that you are staying on track with your entire miner hog. You want to make, or your entire miners, and trying to make sure that you can heal them up through, use that Warren ability as early as, as you're trying to get through the base. Here you can see that we're not entirely going for the Eagle just yet, but we do want to pop the Warren ability in order to protect all these miners as they move right into the base. But you'll notice as well is that it's going to go down, especially thanks to the Expo and the Eagle Artillery. However, we get a nice split from both of them, or from both the miners and the Hog Riders from the Clan Castle, which allows us to send them into this multi-inferno and then throughout the rest of the base. And you can see how it kind of widens out that funnel and allows us to really get a lot of good value. We even had a healer split here, which is extremely good for our attack, even when the queen dies. So it's definitely something very important. Other than that, though, It's a very simple strategy. So for those of you who are interested in learning this strategy, I would definitely suggest trying out in FCs, especially with the new friendly challenge stuff where you can cook an army for no cost. So it's definitely going to be very nice. So I would definitely suggest trying this out, trying out with a slammer, try out with a couple of hog riders in there. It's definitely going to be something a little bit different. But we've now got one last example to give you guys in order to help you improve with your attacks. And we're going to be looking at Zap Quake Mass Hog. So the last example here for you guys is going to be the Suihiro Mass Hog with the addition of a Zap Quake. On this base design right here, I want you guys to really take a look at what he's getting. Again, we're looking for the CC and the Queen. However, notice where the bomb towers are placed as well. We can take advantage of that. So as long as we are waiting here, we want to take down the Queen and we want to take down the clan castle. So you'll see right here, we're going to drop in the lightning spells, take down the Queen. We're going to use the rest of our lightning spells on top of the bomb towers like you see right here. And we're going to quake all three of them, taking down two of the expos and two of those giant two of the bomb towers. That's what I was trying to say. But you guys can still see here is that we're getting a lot of good value from that initial Zap Quake portion. We got rid of all of that value here for just using them, and then we can use a Suihiro right over here just in order for us to kind of carve this area out of the base, kind of carving this out, taking down a multi-inferno. So what we're trying to do from this point is kind of creating pathing that's a little bit like this. That way we can send in our hogs right into here. A lot of really good value for this, and that's really all we're trying to do. Now, one of the very more interesting things here is the use of the two healers. I've never seen that before, healing up the warden, but I've never kind of seen this going through unless he was trying to plan to use the healers with the hog riders. Definitely something interesting, something that I've never thought about. But as you're kind of moving through, again, you want to make sure that you're using your heal spells correctly. And you can see from this example how easy this strategy is, making sure that we're able to keep these hog riders from going through. Now, of course, we do thin out in our hog riders. We only have about 2 heal spells left, but we will be able to get the triple thanks to the warden and the rest of our cleanup troops. So very important to kind of think about. But other than that, though, this gives you guys your final example of pretty solid example at that. It may not be the best example, but still something that is worth showing. There was a lot of value going through, and 100% the value they got from that attack was definitely extremely important. So other than that, though, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, remember to leave a like on the video. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Remember to go ahead and follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Trovo, and Instagram. Those links are in the description along with my community Discord server. And feel free to go ahead and join any of the clans I cover within the game. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.